Hello, everybody. This is Ming Chen,
Hi, I'm Mike Zapsik from AMC's Comic Book Man.
and you are watching AFK, the AFK show, our favorite show on the planet.
One of.
One of. So you're watching the right show. Keep watching, and keep watching.
And keep watching. And keep watching. Don't stop.
So without further ado, I would like to introduce a couple of guys here. If you grew up in the 90s, if you watched any sort of anime in the past decade and a half, I'm talking Dragon Ball Z, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fruits Basket, Shin-Chan, a host of others. The list could go on and on. But I'm really excited for this next Q&A session here. We have a lot coming on throughout the days, but let's get this started. I'd like to introduce Chris Sabat and Chuck Huber. Come on up here, guys.
Wow, these are colorful mic cables.
Yes. Yes, they are.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, so for those of us that might not know, on the rare occasion that someone out here doesn't know what you guys do, why don't you just fill us in a little bit, tell us some of the work you're known for.
Yeah, I started, oh God, it's so loud. I'm so loud. I started anime voice acting in the role of Garlic Jr. in a show called Dragon Balls. Oh, I think it's called Dragon Ball Z. There was a director who cast me in it. He was a big fat jerk named Chris.
Yeah. I was actually quite skinny back then.
And after that, I did Android 17 and Hiei and Yu Yu Hakusho and Dr. Stein and Soul Eater and Austria and Italia. Yeah.
Italia fans.
Yeah. We love them. That's
you
a good sort of rundown of me. What about you?
My name is Christopher Sabat. I'm from Dallas, Texas. I have a studio. It's called Okratron 5000. We record video game and anime voiceovers for video games and anime. And I started like 12 years ago, right before Chuck got there, and we were working on this little tiny show on this tiny company. At the time, they had like four employees or something like that. They were called Funimation, and it's like, and they were bringing this little show called Dragon Ball Z to the United States, and I just stumbled onto an audition for those guys, and they later asked if I would help cast and direct the series. So I looked down, I'm like, what, you're gonna pay me $20,000 a year to cast and direct this show? Oh, hell yeah, of course. So I jumped on board, and then I had the beautiful pleasure of having to just pull actors from the woodwork, because it was an untested show. Like, it wasn't huge yet. No, it wasn't the weird phenomenon it is today. They were just still trying to get it on TV. So actors didn't understand it, and the really expensive actors didn't want to do it because it would hurt their voices. So yeah, it was a crazy long process. I played in the process, because we had so few actors at the beginning.
And because he could cast himself.
Yeah. I was Vegeta and Piccolo and Yamcha. Thank you. And a couple of other characters in the first season, because whenever an actor had to go on tour or got sick or didn't want to do the role anymore and we didn't have time, I'm like, I'll just do it. It's fine. Again, I didn't know at the time that that show was going to be as important as it was.
No, not at all.
So we're just like, I'll do it. I'll just get in there and do it. I played Kuwabara in Yu Yu Hakusho after that. Alex Louis Armstrong in Full Metal, and Zorro and One Piece. and Sergeant Frog and other things. So.
Oh, that's right. We're in Sergeant Frog together.
Yes, I love your character.
I love your character.
Thank you. You're Kululu, right?
Clicky poo.
Yes.
All right, well, I'm sure a lot of us would like to know. And if you haven't figured it out by now, apologies to the anime purists. This is dubbed, not subbed, if you haven't put that together by now.
I'm the subtitled voice of Vegeta.
I do all the typing for Hiei's subtitling.
All right, well, what are some of your favorite characters that you've played over the years?
Go ahead, Chuck.
My absolute favorite character, if I had to pick one, would have to be Hiei from Yu Yu Hakusho.
Hiei's a bam.
Yeah, because I'd never been to a convention, and they were like, hey, Chuck, we're going to take you to a convention. And I was like, okay. And I was like, why? They're like, for Yu Yu Hakusho. And I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, pass out flyers? Like, watch my show, Yu Yu Hakusho. It's a great show. They're like, no, you're going to sign autographs. And I was like, you're stupid. And they were like, no, you're stupid. And then they brought me to this little convention called Otakon. It's got like 40,000 people at it. And they're like, hey, we're going to pay for your plane ticket. I'm like, oh, my God, free plane ticket? And they were like, we're going to put you in a hotel. I'm like, really? And then they sat me down at a table like this, and they were like, and now you're going to sign autographs. And I was like, no, I'm not. Because I didn't know anybody cared about, I was like, I've never signed an autograph in my life. And they're like, no, you're going to sign autographs for 4 hours. And I'm like, you are so stupid. And I was like, they sit you at the table, and you know how they have the autograph line queued back from the table? I sit down at the table, and I was like, see, there's no one here. And they were like, no, that is your line. And I was like, oh my God. And then like the first 7 minutes of it were really scary because those people had been in line probably for like several hours and had to pee really bad and really, really loved Hiei. And so they
That's a bad combination.
Yes, I know. They came up kind of looking like this. And I was like, ah. And then like after 7 minutes of that, I was like, oh, these are all my friends from high school, just they have to pee really bad. And then I was more relaxed because I was like, oh, the internet connects them. They don't have to hide their geekdom anymore. And then I was cool because I was like, oh, okay, I get this. And they were, you know, then all my friends. And now you're all my friends. So Hiei's my favorite for that reason because he's the first, you know, character that people loved me for.
Let's see. There's characters that are my favorite characters. Like Vegeta, oddly enough, I know it's a lame answer, but I've been playing that character for 15 years now. It's like it's a long time to be playing the same character, and I feel very comfortable working with him. But I have had a lot of fun working on some other shows. I think I had more fun working on it than actually the show is good. But I loved Panty and Stocking featuring Garterbelt. I played Garterbelt. He was this guy. He was super tall, man. Actually, Sergeant Frog is one of the shows I always loved working on, too. If you guys haven't seen that, I highly recommend it.
Yeah, Sergeant Frog is a lot of fun. That's the one show that my children really, really like got into. I showed my oldest son like Dragon Ball Z when it first came out, and he was like, yeah, okay, I'll watch it, Dad. Is this fight going to go on forever? And I was like, yeah, pretty much. He's like, okay, I'm not really into that. Okay.
Man, I know your feeling about the first convention we ever went to, because I didn't even know what a convention was. And they said, you're going to a convention in California. I'm like, free trip to California, sweet. Woo-hoo. This should be pretty easy. Turns out the first place I ever went was a convention called Comic Con in San Diego.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe
that was my first one. Maybe it wasn't Otakon. I think it was San Diego. Were we there at the same time?
I was there. Actually, on that one, I was there with Sean Schemmel, who plays Goku, and Stephanie Nadolny and Sonny Strait.
Oh, no, I was there with John Bergmeyer.
Yes, this would have been pre all of that. This was
okay.
very early on. This is when Funimation had no money, and they put us at a hotel that was basically at the end of the runway of LAX. So you would stand outside, and the planes would go. Right
when he says Funimation had no money at the beginning, I had been a professional actor in Chicago for a while, so I thought this audition at this bank building for this Dragon Balls thing was a little hinky. And then I walked into the room where I was supposed to audition, and it was just boxes of VHS tapes, and you walked like through a hallway, a maze of boxes to get back to sort of a room that had like makeshift chairs. They were sitting on barrels, and the studio had like, you know, blankets thrown over the whisper room to keep it quieter. And
at the time, our microphone was like plugged into a toaster, which was plugged into a microwave.
It totally was.
It was powered by the sun.
Yes. There was Justin Cook on a bike powering everything.
At that time, Justin Cook, who plays Urameshi in Yu Yu Hakusho, he was also Super Boo. He was my engineer at the time.
Right, he was the monkey pushing the button, making it all record.
And I remember,
now he's in charge of everything.
He's in charge of everything. And there was a time when I actually told him, like, dude, you have to come in on time, or I'm seriously not going to work with you anymore. And he was awesome after that. If he had chosen not to do that, he may not be in charge of everything now.
Isn't that funny? I wonder if he has like the moment at home that next time when he was like, I'm gonna hit the snooze, and then like a voice from heaven was like, Justin, don't. You're gonna be in charge of all. It would Vic Mignogna's voice. Justin, don't. You're gonna be in charge of all of anime. And then he was like, I'm not gonna hit snooze. And then like he came in.
That's very close to actually how I ended up coming to work in this industry. Like I don't know if any of you guys have this, and maybe you'll have to be a little bit older till you can realize this, but I can trace why I'm here back to a single event. Right. And it was because I woke up to a different radio station than I woke up to normally.
Yes, tell that.
It's the weirdest story, but I can trace it all the way back. 1995, I was working at a radio station in Galveston, and my boss was kind of a jerk. And but he always did the morning show, and I had to do the show after him. And he always would question me on like, hey, how'd you like my show? And I always had to kind of make some comment about how I'd actually watched it or something like that, or listened to it. But he'd gone on vacation, so I listened to another show that morning when I woke up. And the first thing I heard when I woke up was, if you know the answer, give us a call at K90 KRBE or whatever like that. So I groggily picked up my phone, and I just dialed it. Just like, I'll just dial it, see what happens. And I got in to the radio station. I tried my entire childhood to try and get into a radio station. And the problem is, he goes, all right, you know the answer to the question? I go, I don't even know what the question was. He goes, oh, okay, well, let's try this again. So he tells me, he goes, well, what percentage of kids still live at home with their parents? Like 12, 18 or 22%. I'm like, I don't know, 12%. And because I wasn't living at home at the time, he goes, no, that's wrong. Try again, though. And I called in, and I got in again. Again, 2 times. I'd never been able to get in before. I got in 2 times, and I got the answer wrong again. So I called in again, and it got into the 3rd time. This was
my God.
This is the universe working for me.
Right.
They were laughing by the 3rd time. Like, I know what the answer is now. So I got, and when they said, well, pretend to be excited or whatever. I go, all right. And they said, because I don't know if you guys know this, but when you call in a radio station, they record all that and they edit it, and then they put it on the air so that someone doesn't freak out on the air. So when they got to it, like, hey, you won. I'm like, awesome. I'm like, I don't know what I won. They go, you and a friend get to take a bus to Dallas to eat at a Denny's with Dave Matthews. And
oh my God.
If you guys know who he is, all you're like, who's that?
Yeah.
Dave Matthews Band guy. That's him. We ended up eating about as close to Dave Matthews as you are from like the Artist Alley. But I met somebody there on that trip who introduced me to somebody who I became friends with, who I became roommates with, who got married, and had, like, his wife ended up being the person at Funimation who told me about the audition. But like, it's so weird that it all started at that moment.
3 times, though.
3 times, radio station. Sorry, I just took up a lot of time. I apologize for that.
I love that. That's a good story.
Cosmic. Sorry.
The universe works that way, though. I mean, like if you're being nudged towards something, don't try to fight it. Be like, okay, unless it's felony convictable. You know,
Yeah. I think I need to rob that convenience store for some reason.
Chuck said if I was nudged, do it. I want a lot of Snickers, so the universe is telling me to steal Snickers. The universe is not telling you to steal Snickers.
Your Honor, in my client's defense, he was nudged by Chuck Huber. The judge is like, yay? I got his autograph at Comic-Con. Well, I tried to, but I had to pee so bad. I didn't.
Android 17 robbed a gas station. You know what? He can keep the Snickers. That's fine.
Not guilty.
But Chuck, you brought up an interesting point a few minutes ago that I'm kind of curious about. What do your families think about what you guys do for a living?
My family, curiously enough, thinks that I'm going to burn in the eternal fires of hell for all eternity for doing anime. At least half my family. The other half thinks it's awesome. And then they fight. Sometimes we do mud wrestling at Thanksgiving, and it turns into a whole, mud wrestling.
My family's pretty cool with it, especially since I think the coolest thing that working in anime has given me is this ability to relate with pretty much anyone from any age. Except it's awesome because I can walk into a room and any of my younger cousins or nephews or whatever that I would have otherwise had nothing to talk about, all of a sudden are like, so you work on Dragon Ball, huh? Awesome. The only thing I don't like about it is that my mother loves the fact that I do this, but she doesn't know enough about it to actually speak educatedly about it. So she just might be somewhere and she'll go, my son's in the Dragon Balls. He does the Vegeta's voice. I'm like, Mom, we're not going to talk about this right now. Like, we're at a grocery store. Anyway.
All right. I think I'm going to turn it over to the adoring public up here. If you guys have a question for them, there's a microphone placed here in the center of the room. All you have to do is hop up, walk. We're not going to laugh at you. We're going to laugh at you. Okay, Chuck might.
But you, girl with the white I don't even
Whitey
know.
McHeadington.
Yes.
But you can just go up to the microphone.
But the rest of you can follow up behind her.
Yeah.
This is for you. Can you do your Stein voice for us?
My Stein voice?
Yes.
I could, but then I'd have to dissect you.
I see what your parents were talking about. Shit. I was about to turn it off.
I was vamping, but I was gonna look at my watch, but it's a Fitbit.
Yeah, that would take. You'd have to do that for another 40 minutes in order to get out of the rest of this panel.
I could do it.
Actually, I believe you. You could.
I could. Yeah, I could.
Howdy. I would like to hear you guys have a conversation in your Dragon Ball Z characters, if you wouldn't mind.
I think we all would.
Please.
Okay.
It can be something silly like picking out produce. I don't care.
This is where we need a Whose Line Is It Anyway-esque scenes from a hat thing. Just
Welcome to Albertsons. My name's Vegeta. How can I help you pick out vegetables, you alien-looking creature?
How can I help you pick out vegetables, you alien-looking creature?
One.
Yeah.
I want to find some vegetables to push into the dead zone. Do you have any asparagus?
Are you looking for something green and organic?
I am really interested in seeing you die.
Whoa, you're such a downer, man. Oh, what's going on? Hey, Bulma, I'll be right there.
Oh my God, what are these people? Someone get I can't see any of the produce.
Your wish has been granted.
Wow.
Sweet, done.
You're the dragon?
I'm the dragons. I'm all the dragons. Do you know how you can tell how powerful a dragon is? By the size of his balls. Porunga, several balls.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
Yes.
This is for Vegeta. I've
Yes.
been a big fan since Dragon Ball.
Thank you.
Can you do like your favorite quote Or
Servant woman, bring me a drying cloth at once!
Thank you. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
Oh, I'll do my best.
All right, I think that's enough for questions now.
Yeah.
Hi, Chris.
Hi.
Hi, Chuck.
Hi.
How y'all doing? What do you
All I see are the whitest teeth I've ever seen.
I know.
Too.
It's beautiful. A beautiful smile. Lights up the room. Lights up my heart.
I love both of you. You're just beautiful. What do you like about Vegeta's personality, and what do you like about Stein's personality?
Go ahead.
Stein, you know, his personality is, what do they call it? It's like totally insane. Okay. And, well, I actually like characters that are a little unhinged because I like to see where they think they're trying to be hinged and their sort of struggle to stay sane. I find that in my own life, you know, when, shh, I'm talking. I find that in my own life, you know, the insanity has to get pushed away occasionally. Not really like that. I don't hear voices, but, you know, life gets a little kooky sometimes. So you gotta, you know, and that just the idea of being able to laugh like a crazy person and get paid for it, very cathartic.
You know, this just reminds me, I'm going to answer your question eventually, but I want to tell you guys that, like, we worked on the Dragon Ball Z series for a really long time, and we started off, as I told you, by having to put flyers up at universities and go to college campuses and put ads in the paper to find the original cast members, because we were really, like, having huge casting calls to try and find people. But it was actually the Garlic Jr., which was right before the Garlic Jr. saga, which was right before the Android saga, where we had already been doing it for a while, and we're starting to get good at it. And Chuck was probably the first, like, really experienced actor we worked with. So I just want to tell you that. Like, it was such a pleasure to have Chuck in the booth with us, because he actually was a guy who had pretty well seasoned in acting before then. It was the first time I was like, oh wow, I have no purpose to be here anymore.
That's not true, but it was kind of off-putting because I walked in there and I auditioned for stuff, and they're like, yeah, do Garlic Jr. and here, also do Mustard, and you can do this one too, and this other one here, and I was like, oh, okay, this is awesome.
It was awesome. Like Chuck's Garlic Jr. was the start of a lot of great actors that came in to Funimation after that. It was right before Kent Williams, who plays Android 20, like Dr. Giro, and then Android 18, and Meredith and Laura Bailey came in around that time.
Yeah.
It started this. Everything started really rolling after that.
It was Brad Jackson, who played Oolong, who was in my theater company, who told me about the audition. So once it got into the legit theater community, that there is this cool acting thing you can do, and everybody came away with it with such a good experience that they talked about it. And so then that's where all the actors.
I forgot that Brad Jackson came in right before you did. Yeah. That's so funny. Okay, so. My favorite.
Thank you, Chris.
Vegeta's character, what I like about him is that he is way better than Goku. That Goku, by comparison, is a terrible character. No offense. I know you're dressed like him. Don't cry.
Don't cry, Kakarot. Actually, yes, do cry. For decades.
I just think Vegeta, as far as a character is concerned, is a much better character than Goku is. He's a far more rounded character, because Goku is just a dude who has a head injury that happened to be nice and just wants to fight people for pretty much no reason. But Vegeta, if you think about his backstory, man, the guy his whole planet was eradicated. He watched it happen, and then he was kidnapped by the person who destroyed everyone that he knew and raised by him. So I think he's got a pretty deep little backstory. And so I just like playing him. He's just so permanently angry, and I can really, I can't say I can relate with him in any other way than I just really appreciate his backstory. So I like him.
One more question.
Yes.
Now, you didn't direct the Broly series, did you?
I didn't direct the Broly movies, no.
Yeah. Okay.
I think Mike McFarlane directed one of them, and somebody directed the other one. When I found out that Vic was doing it, I didn't want any part of it. I'm just kidding. I'm joking. None of us even knew Vic back then. It was his first thing. I think he did at Funimation.
Yeah, it was. I think that was his very first thing.
Vic is always one of the more interesting people to record when he comes in for the games because that voice just destroys him. And Vic is hands down one of the nicest people when it comes to recording stuff. Like, he's very enthusiastic, and he will always want to do what he's supposed to do. But this is the one voice that he probably secretly absolutely despises doing every time he comes in.
Yeah.
Because it just hurts. His character doesn't even have any interesting lines. All he does in all the games is just go, Kakarot, Kakarot. And I'll come in, I'll go, Vic, are you ready for this? He goes, yeah, I'm really. I'm like, you don't have to lie to me, man. He's like, no, I'm very excited to do it. He'll get 4 lines in and say, all right, let's keep going. I'm like, we can do it. So, do you have a question about the Broly movie, or? No.
All right, next.
No, I didn't direct it. The
Next.
end. Next person.
All right, thank you.
See you soon.
Next.
My question is for Chuck.
Yes.
How often do people show you pictures of their dogs wearing wigs?
Oh, I get a lot of dogs wearing wigs on the end. That's because I played Shao Tucker in full. Stop it. It's okay. Fetch, Nina, fetch. Good girl. What? Too soon? Is it too soon for that? It's always too soon. Shao Tucker's the only character for whom I have received actual physical threats at the table from 7-year-old girls. I hate you! You killed Nina! I'm like, she's not dead. She's permanently ensconced in a soulless universe coupled with a dog. She'll never die. And then the little girls walk away crying, and I'm like, you're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Hello. Is this thing on? Oh, it is. Well, mine's is a very interesting question.
Yes?
We all know that Dragon Ball Z is a series with notable story flaws.
No. What?
Yes. Yes. Other than the whole.
Thank God GT fixed all those.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, JT. Really deserved to exist. But the greatest thing that I've noticed about the character that there are notable plot holes that I never could understood. That I wonder how you would deal like those. For example, for Android 17, he had so many choices to not get absorbed, to run away, even though at 16 or 18 could just simply throw him out the battlefield, comedically, of course. But he just stood to say and break his character. And for Vegeta, he could have, well, I don't know why he let Cell transform, where in the previous instance...
Because he wanted to see what Cell's ultimate power was, because he was obsessed with power, and he has to be better than other people, but he didn't want to just kill him right away. He wanted to make sure he was at his full power before he fought him.
Yeah, but...
And 17, he really just likes getting sucked up tails.
Oh, yeah. So,
He wanted to see what it was like on the inside.
I see. Even though he let Frieza transform, and then when Frieza transformed, he was humiliated, he cried like a baby, he died.
Yeah, well, there was a bad mistake, but he didn't regret it because he only came back stronger because when Saiyans die, they get close to death, they come back way stronger.
Yeah, and Android 17 likes My Little Pony.
Oh, so that's how you get through absorption. Yeah, see, you work around the plot holes, kind of like Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Which I probably assume that you've seen, correct? What do you think of
DBZ Abridged? I love DBZ Abridged. I think any fan-created stuff, I think when you guys take control of the fandom and make massive awesomeness out of it, that's the direction the whole industry is going.
Yep.
I guess you like the voice replacements of you on that show,
No,
correct?
I want to destroy them all.
No.
Well,
I want to audition. I'm like, can I audition for Android 17? I'd love to do it.
They are in town now. They live in Dallas.
Oh, do they live in Dallas?
They all
now?
moved to Dallas recently.
Okay, very good.
Except for Takahata, who's stuck in Canada. He's trying to marry someone so he can come back to the States.
I'll marry him.
All right, next question.
All right, we got about 15 minutes left, so I know you
Okay.
have a
15
lot of
minutes
questions.
left.
Let's try and quick this
So
up.
only questions that we can answer in one word. Here we go.
Yep.
I'm just kidding.
Are you still taking auditions out there to Funimations?
I didn't understand that. What?
Are you still taking auditions at Funimation?
No. I'm just kidding. It's hard to get in touch with people there. I don't know what I bet you if you find it online, there is something where you can email somebody. I don't know what Funimation does because I'm not directly connected with
But
them.
I'll tell you this, the stories that most of the new actors have up at Funimation is they're legit really good actors in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and they also want to do Funimation. And the thing with being in an industry like that, if you have a desire to do something and you talk about it and you're good at your job, you eventually bump into the people who have the power or ability to get you connected with the people that can get you into Funimation. So like if you want to work at Funimation, and you must first want to be an awesome actor and then move to Dallas-Fort Worth area. That's the short way.
Yeah, I was just wondering this because I wanted to send some demos up there to Funimation.
You can always send demos, and directors will occasionally listen to them. But those are what I call space tapes. It's almost like you're shooting it up into space, and it may eventually land, and someone may listen to it. It's not a bad thing to do. I always say, go ahead and make that choice. Make any choice forward towards your goal or dream is a good thing to do because it shows you that you can do it. It may not produce fruit, but the thing with anything you want to achieve is that you have to just keep failing at it over and over again until you succeed.
My recommendation to anyone who's interested in being a voice actor is to treat it like basically the very center of a dartboard, but make sure that you are seeing the entire dartboard. Try and do as many things that are around what you want to do as possible, because diversity is important.
Yes.
I mean, Chuck and I are not only voice actors, we do a billion other things. Chuck writes and produces films, and I'm a voice director, I can do sound design, where I'm a musician. Try and do as many things as possible to get you around those areas. I'm sure that there's got to be filmmaking done in this town. If you're interested in anything involving the entertainment industry, film and theater is the way to start. Get in with those people, start working with those people. You can be a PA on a film set tomorrow, probably.
Right. Yeah.
There's probably a Waco Film Commission or something like that.
Yeah, there's Dallas Film Casting, Austin Film Casting, and Houston Film Casting Yahoo groups, which I get probably 10 audition requests a day from those sites. And it's usually, some of them are paid, a lot of them are free. They're student films, independent films, but that's a great way to just make sure people know that you're there. But the other way to become a voice actor is the way like Team 4-Star has done, which is you take something you want to do, something you would love to do forever without ever being recognized or ever being paid, and you think it's fun or hilarious, and you do that to the best of your abilities and share it with this niche, share it with this group of people, and eventually they will love you back, and you will be able to strip naked and roll around in billions of dollars.
Just like us.
Just like us.
I'm naked right now on the inside.
I am too, inside.
Okay, can I just do just one impersonation, I think? King Ox.
Oh.
Chi-Chi, how you doing, Chi-Chi?
I haven't done that impression in a long time because I gave that voice to Kyle Hebert eventually. I'm like, I don't want to do this voice anymore. No offense.
Well, I can also do it too. I've just been practicing a whole lot.
Let's hear it.
Do it.
Chi-Chi, how you doing, Chi-Chi?
Perfect.
Very good. Give him a round of applause.
Now we must destroy him. So we don't want him to take our work. Just kidding.
All right, let's try to keep these to one
Hello.
question. Go ahead.
This is for Austria.
Oh my goodness, what would you like to ask me?
Why did you sew a patch in my boxers?
Because your bottom was showing.
The end.
Hello, Chuck.
Hi.
I have a real quick question for you since I know we're short on time.
Right.
There's a rumor going around that there's going to be a re-adaptation or a reboot of Soul Eater. And my question to you is, if given the opportunity or the chance, would you reprise your role as Dr. Stein?
Probably not.
No, that guy's a jerk. Yeah, of course. No, and as a matter of fact, I don't think they would even offer it to anyone else. And once the voice is established like that, I think they just keep rolling with what's going.
Awesome.
And if they don't, I'll cry and cover myself in wet blankets.
I will too. Thank you.
So, y'all do a lot of voice acting for individual characters on Dragon Ball Z. Have y'all ever, doing a character, say, Vegeta, but all of a sudden, in mid, you start talking Piccolo, or you're doing...
Yeah, that was half the Dragon Ball Z series.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking all of a sudden, wrong character, then you switch back to this character.
Yeah, that happens occasionally. They usually have a voice reference, a line they want. For instance, Emperor Pilaf's voice reference was, "Ow, Archie," because Emperor Pilaf was really my best imitation of Edith Bunker from All in the Family. So Emperor Pilaf is really a 60-year-old woman from Queens.
Yeah, that's the best way to... we usually can keep the voices in check because they'll give us a reference and we'll do only that character for a while. And then when we're done with that character, we'll come back and hit a different character. If you're playing more than one character, you'll do one character at a time. So, but there was a period during the Dragon Ball Z series when we were rushing to get it on TV back in the late 90s and early 2000s. My voice was so destroyed that Piccolo and Vegeta sounded almost identical for a while. Yeah.
But even then, it's the characterization. There's intention and sort of they have different wants and needs and desires which change them up.
Right.
We're all just really one person in the end.
Yes.
Hello. I have a question for Austria, actually.
Oh my goodness, what is it?
How do you feel about Prussia?
Prussia's super sexy.
Oh, is he? And you have Prussia over here. Just prove it, huh?
See, I was totally right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Italia fans are insane.
And I love them.
Insane.
I love their insanity.
Hello.
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 My question is for one of each of you. Chris, could you do Big Bang Attack in Vegeta's voice?
Big Bang Attack in Vegeta's voice.
And then I want to hear Chuck, Dragon of the Darkness Flame, if you don't mind.
Dragon of the Darkness Flame.
They just said, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
I got a question for Alex Armstrong.
Yes.
What is your relationship with the Elric brothers?
I love the boys so much. They make me cry every time. They're the boys that have been passed down the Armstrong line for generations.
Oh, that is awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Hi.
Hi. This one's for Dr. Stein. Will you marry a toilet?
Will I marry Krillin?
Yeah, Krillin.
Will Dr. Stein marry Krillin?
Yeah.
No, I think Dr. Stein wants Medusa. Why would I marry Krillin?
It's such a weird
crossover.
I love it.
Ask your question. Answer it. Oh, fine.
This is for Zoro.
Yeah.
How does it feel to play such a cool character that with the three sword style? Is it tough to pull off doing the voice acting for when he's holding the sword in his mouth?
It's funny. Zoro's one of the easier voices I get to do because it's the only voice I play that's, well, in my opinion, is close to my voice. It's really my natural speaking voice is what Zoro is, just with an attitude. And I remember when we were first doing the One Piece series, somebody was like, you should put a pencil in your mouth when you do all the sword stuff. I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. One, because I don't want to put a pencil in my mouth. Two, because I'm going to lose that pencil, and then at some session, I'm going to have to grab somebody's random pencil and put it in my mouth. So the only thing I could trust is like when I do his voice, I don't know how clean my hands are, but I'll put my finger in my mouth because it's really hard to speak with something in your mouth and make it understandable. So when I have my finger in my mouth, I can still do at least most of the sounds, and you guys will understand what I'm saying. And his three-sword style is always funny to me because it sounds like he just has some, like, he just makes up the attacks as he goes along. He's like, three-sword style, cat suit, McDonald's, Happy Meal, 99 cents. What? Like,
You know, I taught you the three-sword style.
Yeah, thank you.
I was Zoro's teacher.
My question is for Chris.
Yes.
As we all know by now, the new Dragon Ball saga has released in Japan. Do you have any idea or any speculation
about the new movie?
Yeah, when it'll be coming to
Funimation
America?
just announced that the movie will be coming later this summer. It'll be dubbed, and the Japanese premiere is in about a month from now.
I hear Emperor Pilaf's in it.
That I would not be surprised.
That's what I hear.
I actually know he's in it. I just was trying to be coy.
Thank you.
This is just for both of you, just as people. How does it make you feel that the characters you play and whatever the audience, small children, teens, or adults, is inspiring people to do great things and to shoot for the stars and to not give up on their dreams and just to be inspiring to people of all ages.
Yeah, that's the thing that was hardest at first for me, sitting at a table signing autographs, was my attitude at first was, why do you want my autograph? You don't want my autograph. Like, this is stupid. And then that's insulting because they can't love the two-dimensional characters, so they got to love somebody in the third dimension, and that ends up, we get to be the sort of representation of that. It's a real honor. It's a really great life. I can't complain about my job. It's awesome. And one of my favorite parts of it is coming to conventions and meeting all you guys.
Yeah, it's breathtaking occasionally, some of the stories you get from people. Yeah. Right now is one of the most awesome times because I'm meeting guys about your age that ran home every day from school when they were like 6 and 7 years old to watch Dragon Ball Z. And now you're all in your 20s and you all have cars and you dress like Goku and Chi-Chi and you drink a lot of Powerade or something or whatever that stuff is. It's green tea and of course. But it is the neatest, most incredible thing. Like I was at a convention a few months ago in McAllen, Texas, which is very like South Texas, and this guy came up to me, and his arm was like, you could almost see his bone through his arm where the skin had just been like ripped away. And he told me a story about how when he was younger, he was playing like chase with his brothers and sisters, and he ran through the kitchen, and he bumped his mother, and the pot of boiling water just poured all over him. He was in the hospital for months. And he watched Dragon Ball Z to recover from that. Like, that's all he watched while he was in there. And he's a black belt martial artist now. Like, other than that part of his skin that was missing, he was a complete, like, thick pile of muscle. This dude was insane. Awesome. But yeah, it's the coolest thing meeting people.
Yeah, I had a vet from Iraq come up to me with a missing leg. He had like a Iron Man. It was like all titanium alloy and blue, and he looked like Iron Man walking up to me. And he was like, sign my leg. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's a really expensive leg, I bet. He's like, it cost $80,000. And he's like, sign it. And I was like, yes, sir. And then I was like signing a Bentley or something. It was kind of neat.
Yeah, that's probably one of the most unexpected things I would have gotten out of this job. Most of the time, and I really feel like a lot of the people who worked at Funimation, people like me and Chuck and a lot of the guys that were the early Funimation crew, are some of the nicer people you'll meet at conventions because we all started without any expectation that any of this was going to happen. Like, none of us were expecting any of this.
No, it's still surprising. Like, this resurgence of it the past 4 or 5 years as the first generation has grown up and now their children are watching the show again and it gets re-released. It's like doubled the size of everything.
Yeah.
Because when we first started, there was maybe 3 anime conventions or 5 anime conventions, and now there's 5 per weekend.
I'm just so happy to see people really happy to meet us because when we first were going to conventions in the early, like 1999, it was right after we had replaced some of the original Canadian cast members. And so a panel like this would have about 6 people in it. And I go, chirp, 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 chirp. And we go, anyone have any questions? No one will raise their hand. And finally someone will raise their hand and go, why'd you guys change the voices? I'm like, I don't know. I'm one of the new voices, so it's kind of weird to ask me that. And they, why'd you change the music? I'm like, oh man, I don't, not my decision. So it was really negative at first, but it's really taken a turn. Everyone just loves Dragon Ball now.
Yeah.
Thank you, man. I can't see that person. Who is, like, there's a giant bush standing here. Is there someone hiding it?
I see a floating gun. That's all I see.
There you go.
This is for Yamcha.
Yeah, best character ever.
When are you finally going to win a fight?
That's weird that you didn't ask that because I totally could. It's just I'm real busy working on my solo album and stuff, so whatever.
That was a well-played question.
Poir was real.
He could fight Krillin, and Yamcha would still lose, and Krillin would still die.
All right.
Yeah.
I have a question for Hiei.
What? I can answer it. Kuwabar's an idiot.
Oh, that was the question. Never mind.
Wait! Hey!
Sorry, man. You're an idiot.
This question is for Stein. How do you feel about like the drawings and fan fictions that people write about UX Spirit?
Oh, you mean Yahweh?
Yes.
Yeah, everybody can do their own stuff. I don't have any particular interest in dudes because I like girls. So what people do with a two-dimensional character of mine is their own business, I suppose.
I just realized you had to be very careful with the way you pronounce Yahweh and Yahweh.
I know. I was trying to mix it up.
All right. Two very different things.
Or are they?
Yes.
First, I just want to thank y'all both for being such a big part of my life.
No problem. Seriously, it was great.
Yeah, it was easy.
Okay.
I would just like to say I'd like to think I had a hand in your birth too.
Yeah,
so.
I also think I deserve 10% of whatever you make from here on out.
If y'all knew my parents, then you probably did.
Remember that awesome time you had? That was that one thing
Yeah.
that you really liked. That was my idea.
Yeah.
So, is there anything I don't know, special that y'all do to get into character to do y'all's characters?
I'm a physical actor. I have to physicalize. If a character is big like Kabito, then I have to physically.
Yeah.
I couldn't do Austria for a while without my hands being up and shaking like this. I don't know why. But the physicalization helps me with the voices.
Yeah, I can be pretty physical too. The one weird trick that I do, and I always tell people, I always preface this by please do not do this or blame me if you try this. But I had a really, I play these characters a lot of the times that are these big, muscly dudes who probably wouldn't cry very often. But in scenes when they do have to cry, it's a really weird moment for me because I'm also somebody who can't bring on the waterworks really easy. There's some people who are really good. But what I found, it was a weird, stupid thing I tried doing, and no one told me to do this, just try doing it. I would stick, when it came time for the lines where they're supposed to be really emotional and crying, I would stick my finger in my eye and push on my eye, and it would hurt. But what's weird is I would think, ow, this really hurts, and then it would take me out of the whole, oh, great, now you have to pretend to cry kind of thing. And so it really helped, I think, those moments come out. I know it's a weird technique, but it really helped me. I still do it to this day.
Yeah, pain can do that.
It's a nice distraction from what you have to do.
No.
Thank you, guys.
Welcome.
Oh, by the way, this armor that he's wearing, I get to bring that home with me.
What?
Actually,
Yeah.
it's the other armor over there with the royal symbol on it.
Nice!
Yes. I have a question for you. What is your favorite Vegeta of all the series?
My favorite Vegeta of all the series? It would be Majin Vegeta. Where he finally clocks Goku over the back of the head and says, drop the mic.
Thank you very much.
So awesome.
That's.
What is the name of your, hey, what's your website again? It's cosplay, is it cosplay?
Cosplaycorp.net.
Cosplaycorp.net. He's made
Cosplaycorp.net.
hundreds of these and sent them all over the world. It's
I
amazing.
think we should wear them out to Denny's.
Yes.
We were at IHOP earlier.
Is this our last question? Last question.
Yeah, I'll shut it down right here. Don't worry about it. In the new movie, Vegeta goes Super Saiyan God, right? Not Super Saiyan, but he goes.
I don't know.
I've seen pictures of rumored.
I've heard rumors myself. But really, we haven't seen the final. I haven't seen the final movie yet, so I don't really know. I have seen images of it, but I don't really Who knows? It's a lot of speculation at this point.
I think Emperor Pilaf wishes for himself to be Super Saiyan God and accidentally throws it on Vegeta and then kills Krillin.
And may I ask one more question? And that's it.
Oh, yes.
You ever feel awkward when you're just screaming into a mic when you're doing powering up? It's gotta. We've always think when we're watching that's gotta be weird just sitting in a room yelling into a mic.
Yeah, occasionally the third eye pops out, goes doink like this, and you're like, my job is stupid.
It is true. It was a lot weirder at first, but now it's so automatic. And
yeah, now it's not only automatic, but you're expected to be at expert level of it. There is no messing around. You better know how to do this right. This is serious business now.
When people would come in, as I mentioned earlier, there were some people that came in that weren't trained voice actors, and even some that were. And with Chuck, I didn't have to worry about this, but with a lot of other actors, I used to have to give them this little speech because as the voice director of Dragon Ball Z, it was my job to make sure the show sounded as awesome as it looked. And I would tell an actor, I'm like, here's the thing. You can either do this long, painful, blood-curdling, horrible scream once, well, or we have to do it twice. Like, so just do it really well the first time. I know you're gonna hate it, it's gonna feel weird or awkward, but just don't hold back. Do as loud and as crazy as you can. You won't break the microphone. And if you do it like that, we don't have to do it 2 times, because the second time will destroy your voice.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Appreciate your time. Thank you for everything you do. Y'all have a
Hey,
good day.
thank you.
You guys have been awesome. I am not in the celebrity area. I am in the artist alley right over here with my lovely girlfriend, Jessica, and you can come see me there. I know Chris will be over in the celebrity area.
I'll be right on the other side of this wall, like right over there.
Because I'm famous.
Because he's famous.
Big round of applause for these guys. Thanks so much to the both of them for coming out.
Thank you.
Be sure to stop at both of their tables, get an autograph, get a picture. Thank you all for coming out to Heart of Texas Comic-Con. Follow us on Twitter at TheHotCon. This is made possible by our sponsors over at Bankston's and, of course, KWTX, your local CW station. Stick around. We're going to have Jeremy Bullock here in a little while. We're just getting started for the weekend.